There are women men notice, and then there are women men cannot get out of their heads. The difference is not always beauty, perfect timing, or even confidence in the obvious sense. Sometimes it is energy. Sometimes it is the way she walks into a room and somehow changes the emotional temperature without trying. Sometimes it is the feeling that she knows something nobody else knows. And in astrology, certain zodiac signs in women carry exactly that kind of magnetic force. They awaken curiosity, desire, fascination, and in some cases, full-blown obsession that men rarely confess out loud. What makes this even more powerful is that obsession does not always look dramatic at first. It can begin as a second glance, a remembered voice, a message reread at midnight, a strange urge to impress her, protect her, understand her, or win her approval. These women do not always chase attention, but attention chases them. They leave traces in the mind. They become the standard men compare others to later. They stir up not only attraction, but longing, imagination, and emotional restlessness. A man may act calm around her while secretly replaying every word she said. The 7 signs in this horoscope are not here by accident. Each one has a different kind of feminine power. One pulls men in through softness that feels impossible to replace. Another creates obsession through mystery, making men feel there is always one more hidden layer. One makes men feel alive, challenged, and electrified. Another seems like peace on the outside while quietly becoming the center of someone's emotional universe. This is not about who is better than the rest. It is about who triggers that unforgettable reaction in a man's heart, mind, and ego. And the most dangerous part, many of these women do not even realize how deeply they affect people. They think they are simply being themselves, while somewhere nearby a man is losing sleep, checking his phone, wondering who else is looking at her, and feeling that strange mix of admiration, desire, jealousy, and emotional dependence he cannot explain. So let's open the secret door and reveal the first signs whose feminine energy men become hopelessly fixated on. 1. Scorpio woman. A Scorpio woman does not attract men in a light, casual, forgettable way. She attracts them in a way that feels like a private storm. There is something about her that makes a man feel he is standing near real power, and that alone is intoxicating. She does not need to beg for attention or perform sweetness to keep interest alive. In fact, the less she explains herself, the more intensely men want to understand her. A Scorpio woman has emotional gravity. Even when she is quiet, she feels significant. Even when she says little, her presence speaks loudly. Men become obsessed with Scorpio women because they sense depth, danger, and devotion all at once. She can look at a man as if she sees through every mask he owns, and that alone can shake him. Around her, he feels exposed, chosen, tested, and desired in a way that is hard to find elsewhere. She does not feel superficial. She feels unforgettable. Men may tell themselves they just want her attention, but very quickly it becomes much more than that. They want her trust. They want to be the one person she fully lets in. And once a man feels even a glimpse of emotional closeness with a Scorpio woman, he can spend a long time craving that intensity again. 2. Leo woman. A Leo woman creates obsession through radiance. She has the kind of presence that makes men straighten their posture, sharpen their words, and suddenly care a lot about the impression they leave. She does not disappear into the background. She shines, and what makes her truly dangerous is that her shine feels warm, alive, and royal at the same time. Men are drawn to her because she carries herself like someone who knows her worth. She does not beg to be adored, yet adoration follows her anyway. Men secretly obsess over Leo women because being noticed by her feels like winning something rare. Her attention is not bland. It feels like sunlight after a long winter. When she laughs at a man's joke, believes in his potential, or openly admires him, he feels 10 times stronger. That emotional effect is powerful. A Leo woman can become the center of a man's imagination because she makes him feel both inspired and hungry for more. He wants to impress her, protect her, and prove he deserves a place in her world. Even after she leaves the room, her energy lingers. Men remember her confidence, her charm, her glow, and the way she made life feel bigger. That is why a Leo woman is not just attractive, she becomes a living obsession. 3. Pisces woman. A Pisces woman creates the kind of obsession men rarely know how to explain. With her, it is not always immediate fire. Sometimes it begins as softness, mystery, tenderness, or a strange emotional pull that grows stronger with time. She has a dreamlike quality that makes men feel something poetic is happening, even if the moment itself is simple. There is often kindness in her eyes, but also distance, like part of her soul is floating somewhere unreachable. That combination is dangerous. Men do not just want to be near her, they want to be the one who truly reaches her. What makes Pisces women unforgettable is the emotional fantasy they awaken. A man may feel that with her, love could become deeper, gentler, more meaningful than anything he has known before. She often inspires the protector instinct, but also the romantic obsession that keeps a man thinking long after the conversation ends. He wonders what she feels, what she hides, what kind of love she is capable of, and whether he could become the hero of her inner world. A Pisces woman can make a man feel both peaceful and restless, and that is a powerful trap. He feels soothed by her presence, yet haunted by the fear of losing it. That is why men often become emotionally attached to Pisces women before they fully realize how deep they have fallen. 4. Libra woman. A Libra woman has a seductive power that is more subtle than loud, but often even more effective. She does not always overwhelm a man with intensity. Instead, she makes obsession feel elegant, pleasant, and almost inevitable. She is often charming without effort, feminine without force, and magnetic in a way that feels polished rather than chaotic. Men are pulled toward her because she seems to carry beauty not only in her face, but in her manner, voice, timing, and emotional rhythm. She makes connection feel easy, and that can be more addictive than drama. Men secretly obsess over Libra women because they feel good around them, and then realize that feeling good has become emotional dependence. A Libra woman often knows how to make a man feel seen, appreciated, and interesting. She creates chemistry through grace, humor, intelligence, and the ability to mirror what someone needs without losing her allure. But the real reason obsession begins is this: she feels like the ideal. Men project dreams onto her. They imagine relationships, future moments, perfect conversations, perfect nights. And because she usually remains a little untouchable, the fantasy keeps growing. A Libra woman can smile softly, say very little, and still stay in a man's thoughts for weeks. She does not need chaos to become unforgettable. Her power is in refinement, and men get lost in it. 5. Taurus woman. A Taurus woman creates obsession in a way that is slow, sensual, and incredibly hard to break. She does not usually come across as chaotic or desperate for attention, and that is exactly part of her power. Men feel something deeply feminine and grounding in her presence. She often seems calm, composed, soft, and self-possessed, but beneath that softness is a quiet strength that makes her unforgettable. She carries herself like a woman who does not need to run after anyone, and that naturally makes men come closer. With her, attraction feels physical, emotional, and comforting at the same time. Men secretly obsess over Taurus women because they represent something many of them are starving for without admitting it: warmth, loyalty, sensuality, and peace. She can make a man feel safe and tempted all at once, which is a rare combination. There is often something addictive about the way she speaks, touches, laughs, or simply exists in her body. She does not have to act provocative to awaken desire. Her energy alone can feel rich, delicious, and impossible to replace. A man who falls for a Taurus woman often starts imagining more than passion. He imagines home, consistency, intimacy, beauty, and a kind of affection that soothes his nervous system. And once he connects that deep comfort with her specifically, he can become extremely attached. Because a Taurus woman does not just attract men, she makes them feel that losing her would mean losing something precious they may never find again. 6. Gemini woman. A Gemini woman creates obsession through mental electricity. She is the type of woman who can make a man laugh, confuse him, excite him, and intrigue him all in the same conversation. She has movement in her energy. She is alive, playful, unpredictable, and emotionally hard to pin down in the beginning, which makes men want to chase her even more. She often seems like she belongs to herself first, and that independent spark makes her irresistible. A man may think he understands her, then she says something brilliant, unexpected, or wildly charming, and suddenly he realizes there are 10 more sides of her he has not yet seen. Men become obsessed with Gemini women because they never feel bored around them. With her, attraction is not only physical, it becomes psychological. She gets into his thoughts. He wants the next conversation, the next message, the next joke, the next surprise. A Gemini woman can make a man feel intellectually alive, emotionally alert, and slightly off balance, and that combination is dangerously addictive. She does not always give everything away at once. One day she is light, teasing, and sparkling. The next day she is thoughtful, distant, impossible to read. That inconsistency pulls men in deeper because it makes them try harder to hold her attention. She becomes the woman they keep checking for, wondering about, replaying in their mind. A Gemini woman turns attraction into a game of curiosity, and many men never stop wanting to solve her. 7. Aries woman. An Aries woman creates obsession through pure force of life. She is not the woman a man casually forgets after one conversation. She leaves an impact. There is boldness in her energy, a spark that can feel thrilling, dangerous, and impossible to ignore. She often says what she thinks, moves with confidence, and carries a heat that wakes men up emotionally. Around her, things feel immediate, more intense, more honest, more alive. She does not shrink herself to make others comfortable, and men who are drawn to her often become obsessed precisely because she feels so real. Men secretly obsess over Aries women because she gives them a rush. She feels like desire with a heartbeat. She can challenge a man, tease him, inspire his competitive side, and make him feel that being chosen by her would mean something powerful. She is not passive, and that alone sets her apart. A man cannot always predict what she will do next, but he knows one thing: she makes him feel something strong. She can become an obsession because she activates both passion and ego. He wants her attention, her approval, her fire, and the feeling of being the one man strong enough to match her. Even when she walks away, the energy remains. He remembers her confidence, her directness, the way she made his pulse speed up without even trying. An Aries woman does not seduce through softness alone. She seduces through life force, courage, and a feminine power that feels impossible to tame. Why these women stay in men's minds? The truth is, men do not secretly obsess only over beauty. Beauty may open the door, but it is energy that makes them stay mentally and emotionally trapped. The 7 signs in this horoscope each hold a different kind of feminine magnetism. Scorpio draws men into depth and emotional danger. Leo makes them crave her light and approval. Pisces awakens the fantasy of soul-deep love. Libra becomes the elegant ideal they cannot stop imagining. Taurus creates attachment through sensual peace and irresistible warmth. Gemini captures the mind and keeps it spinning. Aries ignites desire through boldness and raw feminine fire. What makes these women unforgettable is not perfection. It is the emotional effect they create. Men remember the woman who made them feel exposed, inspired, peaceful, alive, fascinated, wanted, or slightly out of control. They remember the one who became a thought they could not switch off. And that is exactly why obsession begins, not because she chased, forced, or begged, but because something about her energy reached a place inside him that few others ever touch. So if your sign is on this list, never underestimate your power. You may think you are simply living your life, speaking your truth, laughing, loving, disappearing into your own thoughts, or protecting your heart. Meanwhile, somewhere nearby, someone is remembering your voice, rereading your messages, comparing others to you, and wondering why you are so hard to forget. Some women attract attention, but these 7 zodiac signs in women create something much stronger: fascination that lingers, desire that deepens, and obsession that men rarely admit, even to themselves.